Alright, happy Sunday everybody, welcome back to the show. It is your boy Lex Money. We're going to do a Sunday speed run of the crypto market. We've got some big things coming up next week. Now, before we do start, many of you guys know I'm on my journey to 12k subs. If you're one of the OGs, make sure you like up the video. If you're new and you haven't subscribed, help me on my journey, guys. Alright, so the data is looking good to go into next week, and I want to remind you guys of a video that I did make on the 1st of June. If you haven't watched this, after this video go back on the channel and watch this, because we looked at a potential crash before the pump and the fact that we could be in a 2-week consolidation slash pullback to start off June. And what happened, guys? We did get that pullback to start off the month, right? We did say the beginning of the month always makes time for the world games, shenanigans, right? Up and downs. However, we did sweep the liquidity at 100k, which is really good. Now, on the smaller time frame, there's still some liquidity at like 104. So again, just room for potential chop. But when we do go to the weekly time frame, we got 152 million of liquidity above us right now, going up to around 108k. So it wouldn't surprise me if we have more chop to start the week and then start to target that upward liquidity. And yes, there could be the potential for a greater short squeeze on the cards, because when you do go to the 2-week time frame, then you're going to see, right, we've got liquidity at 108, then a really big gap all the way to 111k, which is going to be the all-time high. So again, another 50 million at around 108 to 110k ready for the market makers to capture. Now, is Bitcoin ready to break the 2-week downtrend that it has been in? Well, according to Rect, it looks like we're ready to have that breakout. 106.5k is going to be a key level of interest in the price of Bitcoin. So maybe we do have a short-term rejection at 106k, come down to retest a higher low before resumption, and that could be in line with our theory that we're going to chop, maybe revisit around 104k to start the week before the eventual pump. But one thing that all of you guys need to pay attention to is the fact that people are going to pull out the M2 chart next week after we continue the pump, and they're going to say it was so obvious, because so far it has been so obvious, guys. And when we do check out our M2 chart, do you remember in previous videos we said when we were up here, it's time for a pullback? We got the pullback, so things looking pretty good right now. If you do zoom in to the M2, I'll try and zoom in for you guys right now. You have this dip represented around here. Then you have very small relief, big final dip, V-shaped recovery, small consolidation. This could take us to 104k, and then we start to rip, maybe, I don't know, end of next week or something, or middle of next week. So it's looking really, really good if we are to mirror the M2, and this would bring us to new all-time highs as well going into the end of June. And if we do go to new all-time highs in the end of June, maybe July, then that's going to be really, really good for things like Ethereum and our top altcoins, guys. We have been consolidating for the past 4 weeks above the 200 MA, which is fantastic. All we need is a very big God candle to take us out of here. This is going to look like every other time we've nearly had a death cross and then got saved. I do think the same thing is going to happen. And if we can print above 2.8k for ETH, then, you know, 3k to 3.3k is going to come pretty quickly. And remember, bookmark it, guys. I did say 10 days. This was posted on the 4th of June. So we've got 6 days left to find out whether or not we are going to be at 3k. Now, another thing that I've been keeping an eye on is gold. We've looked at gold together for, well, it feels like over a year now. We've been looking at the gold chart. Sometimes I include it, sometimes I don't. But Tony the Bull did actually post a good chart here, and it looks like it is time for Bitcoin to start to outperform gold. Okay, this looks like a generational bottom for the Bitcoin gold pair, or the gold Bitcoin pair. When you look at Bitcoin priced in gold, I mean, 31 ounces of gold per Bitcoin right now. This hasn't broken the all-time high, and I do believe if Tony's chart does start to bottom out, then you're going to see it reflected in this as well, right? We start to print new all-time highs. Remember, this is the daily, so this still has quite a way to go, but we're coming towards the end of the year right now. It looks like the apex is going to be 2026. Probably will break out before the apex, but another chart that all of you guys should keep an eye on. As many of you guys know, Bitcoin, the digital gold, we should always be tracking Bitcoin Gold / Gold Bitcoin. And again, what is it going to mean for our alts? Well, I do think Bitcoin dominance probably is going to continue a little bit higher, maybe to the high 60s to 70%. ETH rotation, we were so close, guys. It looked like we wanted to have some candle closes outside, but then we got a harsh rejection. But we did say in that previous video that obviously it looks like we're ready to coil up. Sometimes these things take longer than we would like, but if it does coil up, then we did say, you know, middle to end of June should be approaching the apex, and then ETH should start to take some market share. And then that would be in line with the potential timing window for Bitcoin dominance to reject going into July. What would that mean? Well, I don't want to jinx it, but you guys know what that would mean for our altcoins. It rhymes with alt peason. Right, hopefully we get it. I feel like every time people talk about it, we just jinx it. But you can see here, it's happened every single time, guys, and we're approaching that level in which Bitcoin does like to reject / altcoins like to take over. So we've got a potential short squeeze on the cards for Bitcoin coming up next week, which could be really, really good for our altcoins. ETH looks like it's ready to coil up for another couple of weeks. The gold Bitcoin pair looks really, really good. So I'm going to say next week looks like it could be an inflection point. Remember, we're still expecting chop. So if we do start to dump in the beginning of the week, no need to panic, no need to worry. All the bear posters will be out again, but guess what? We'll be on the right side of the trade as we always are. So that's it. You guys let me know how you're feeling going into next week. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. If you watch the UFC, let me know what you think about the UFC, because I stayed up till 6 a.m. just to watch O'Malley tap last night. That was a big fail. Anyway, listen, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your Sunday. Peace.